moron! Hey, moron! Dude! Look at me! I'm the waterboard, dude!
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. It is time to get back to work, back to life, and back to reality and back to work. Let me say, from the bottom of my heart, all of you guys have helped me get through this, and it's not over. But today, I feel a little bit better, knowing that my dad will not have to go through the heart problems and things like that. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And it's now time for me to get back to work and get things going again, because the time is short and we got to make things happen. So this morning I want to start out with something that I find kind of crazy, because LeSean Shady McCoy tweeted out yesterday. It's so amazing to me. Nowadays they let anybody talk football, and because of the platform, viewers think they are credible. Okay.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh.
Well, let me say it again.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh.
You know, they say those who live in glass houses shouldn't cast the first stone. If you look at Shady McCoy, of course, you see two-time Super Bowl champion listed on there. Did they win those Super Bowls because of Shady McCoy, or was he riding his ass on the bench? Shady McCoy has the dumbest takes in sports media. Literally.
You're the instigator, the orator of the town. You're the worst when you converse, just a big mouth clown.
I don't know that Shady McCoy has ever had a credible take. I don't think he does any homework. I don't even think that he takes the notes that they give him and even reads them there. The only thing, you know what Shady McCoy is? Shady McCoy is like back in the 80s, you know, when you had rappers, you always had the hype boy, the hype guy, okay? You had the rappers out there actually doing all the real work and stuff, you know, and Flavor Flav, yeah, boy, that's Shady McCoy. Shady McCoy, he even a good hype man. The only thing that you ever listen to with Shady McCoy is a hot take dissing somebody. Dak Prescott better have, realtor on speed dial. Dak Prescott is ass. Seriously. And it's no wonder that sports media on cable is dying. Now, here's the thing, here's where Fox Sports 1, let me read this to you. The exact production costs of the facility, because I wanted to know how much they actually pay to do that show, on FS1 is not publicly available, while the show is based in Fox Studio Lot in Los Angeles, which is undergoing a $1.5 billion upgrade. The specific budget for the facility is not disclosed. FS1 Sports in general has significant broadcast operations in New York City, Charlotte, North Carolina, in addition to headquarters in Los Angeles, and the show has been known to feature hosts such as Emmanuel Acho, and has not noted that the show went dark after reconstruction of FS1's content. And the facility basically is replacing Undisputed. Undisputed, basically ratings were about 121,000 people would watch that show. 121,000 people would watch this show. That sounds like a lot, but in comparison, First Take is about, or used to be about 500,000. which I would love to have that kind of production. Of course, here, I would love to have those kind of views. But when you think about how much money it costs to put on one of those shows, and the fact that the facility, which is supposed to be the younger guys, it's supposed to be the credible host like Shady McCoy, former NFL player, and Acho and Joy Taylor, that you've got the firepower there. You get Michael Irvin on there. You get Keyshawn Johnson. You have people that are known quantities that are there with script writers, with multiple cameramen, with lighting crews, okay? You got makeup artists. You've got the set builders. And yet, with all of that, the power of a corporation of FS1, you only getting 121,000 views? Maybe you need some less credible people on the show to make it go, because cable shows are becoming dinosaurs. Nobody is tuning in like that. Nobody has 2 or 3 hours to sit there and watch you blovate about the same subject that the show before you did. Shout out to June Lee, who was one of those guys who's now doing YouTube after he was let go 2 years ago. He kind of pulled the Band-Aids off and lets you know kind of what's going on. And he's 100%, incredible with what his takes were. I would love to get him I would love to do some work with him, just going through how sports media has devolved. Like it or not, guys like Vosh Lombardi, Law Nation are becoming the new thing. And what you see here are Shady McCoy trying to kick back and stay relevant. And see, the problem for those guys are when you have the ESPN type people is they come to YouTube and they think they're gods. Hey, I've been in sports media for 25 years. I am, Joy Taylor, and I'm on Speak in the facility and all of these things and whatever. And then they come to YouTube and it's kind of meh. That's not to say that a lot of them don't get it, like Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp understands how to relate to people. He understands how to give people the content they want. He understands how to relate to them. Shady McCoy, I still have to say, bro,
you're the instigator, the orator of the town. You're the worst when you converse, just a big mouth clown.
I wish I could play that whole song, because you would think that Run DMC wrote that song straight up about Shady McCoy. Because, man, it seems like every word of that was like, you can relate that to Shady. You can literally relate it to Shady McCoy. But be that as it may, I'm not going to give any more time to Shady McCoy. But keep on, Shady. I ain't mad at you, man. You have to do something to get people to listen to you. And if the only thing that you got is dissing somebody, well, use what you got, bro. Use what you got. I would like for you to actually do some homework and actually have real insight about the game itself, because you have played on an elite level. You should be a wealth of knowledge other than a hype man. So let's get on to the Dallas Cowboys. We had the Children's Cancer Fund last night. We had Tony Romo there. We had, of course, Troy Aikman there, Dak Prescott and things. And we got some more Dak Prescott yesterday. I posted a video last night. Yesterday was a rough day. I didn't do a whole lot of stuff on here. Of course, this is my dad's funeral. But I did want to get out there with Dak Prescott, basically talking to his teammates and saying, we need leadership from some of these players. He kind of called out Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert, this is a year we need Jalen Tolbert to really step up and to become a really good player for us. I would love for us to be able to get that number 2 and Jalen Tolbert develop into being that great number 3 wide receiver for us. The more weapons we can have, the better. And so Dak called out and said, we need leadership from guys like him, another guy like Osa and Digazua, and of course from Micah Parsons. And we truly do need that. We need these guys to get on the same page. I find one of the things I think is kind of cool was Micah Parsons talking about going bald-headed, and you saw Wanye Thomas and saying, yeah, let's do this. I don't know if it's all going bald that brings you all together, but you do have to find something to make these guys understand that we're just not out here for me to get my biggest paycheck. We're out here to do something even greater for all of us. And that's something I truly need I need the Dallas Cowboys to get their stuff together. I've waited too long. I wanted my dad to see the Dallas Cowboys win another Super Bowl. And it's crazy because I remember, like it was yesterday, Stuart Morrison, who was a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, and going to Texas and hoping that the Cowboys could get themselves together and win one for our brother that's up in heaven. And I keep waiting and waiting and waiting. But be that as it may, there has been a whole lot of conversation about Dak Prescott. You saw that Dak Prescott has lost like 20 to 30 pounds. We saw one post out there talking about, the Slim Reaper having lost 50 pounds. And I'm like, bro, he was 226 out of college. They listed at 234. If he had lost 50 pounds, we're talking about a guy that would have been 184 pounds. I don't know that I want a 6'2" quarterback, 184 pounds. I know that when I was in the best shape of my life and I was trying to become a decathlete at JMU, I could run the cross-country course 19 miles. That was hills in 19 minutes. I had a 5% body fat, and they wanted me to get down to 190 pounds. Bro, you would be surprised what I looked like back then. I couldn't get to 190. So I'm sitting here, and I'm not 6'2". I'm like, there's no way in hell. But here's Dak telling you exactly how much weight he's lost.
Slimothy. Whatever you want to call me, but real slim. No, I'm just kidding. I actually haven't really lost any weight. I'm about the same. Weight's just moved, building my legs back up, obviously from the hamstring. Might be leaner up top, but weight's the same. So, appreciate the interest.
Yeah, well, it's all over social media. We're seeing you throwing, and your body looks different.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the work that I've put into it. Unfortunately, I've been through this process of recovering from injuries before that. I embrace it, and I know that a better version of me is on the other side. And so that's just the way that I've approached this whole offseason, this whole rehab process. And in the sense of that, as I said, I've moved weight around more than I've lost weight, but I feel great, getting very, very close to where I want to be.
You talked about the rehab process and the hamstring. Where are you with the hamstring?
Yeah, I'm getting close to where I want to be. I don't want to put a percentage on it. Know we've got team activities coming up. Imagine myself being involved in some sort, if not all. But then again, understanding my age, what I've went through is it's about getting to the fall and being my best in the fall. So not rushing anything, but I'm where I want to be.
He's where he wants to be. Sorry, my camera is not, Wi-Fi camera is not hitting and holding this morning. So forgive me on that one. But we're going to continue with a few more clips of Dak from that event last night. And you'll get a little bit of insight on it,
Yeah, I'm getting close to where I want to be. I don't want to put a percentage on it. Know we've got team activities coming up. Imagine myself being involved in some sort, if not all. But then again, understanding my age, what I've went through is it's about getting to the fall and being my best in the fall. So not rushing anything, but I'm where I want to be. Yeah, I'm getting close to where I want to be.
He's getting close to where he wants to be. I like hearing that. And we do have team workouts that are going to be starting soon. And when he's talking about Shoddy, I really feel like the team is really falling into respecting Schottenheimer.
The game plan already?
Well, I don't think you have any. Do you?
I mean, just excitement. Yeah, just excitement. As you said, I mean, I've known Shady. He's been there. He's been the last couple of years and really 3 years, right? The first year being a consultant. That it's not any monumental conversations that are needed to happen, but definitely his direction and the way that he sees this offense going, the way that he sees this team going. And I think it's clear throughout the team with the guys and the men that he's hired as the coaches and the way that he's got the whole building on the same page. So just excited for this chapter under him and the way that he's going to lead this team. Give you the game plan already?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm running over a little bit on there. And to piggyback on that, we have the workouts begin on Monday. They're actually able to start coming, if not working with the coaches and things, but able to come in, start doing, weightlifting and training and things like that. Starts on Monday. Then we have rookie minicamp May 2nd. We're talking about 3 weeks from now, May 2nd to May 5th. Also on May 9th to May 12th. OTAs May 19th through the 20th. And then on the 22nd, also May 28th to 30th. June 2nd and 3rd, June 5th, mandatory minicamp will be June 10th through 12th. Now, the question will be here is, will we see Micah Parsons there? Now, there's one more clip that I thought I had. Oh, this is the last one. This is it. I think this is it. Is this the right one?
Have you kind of changed maybe the way you're attacking your rehab this time around or reevaluated it at all?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you're talking different injuries, whether you're talking the ankle to the thumb to a hammy off the bone, that it's about following the team, following my PT Luke Miller and the plan that we put together and the doctor and Dr. B.A.M. And I'm excited about where I am. If I had to play a game today, I definitely could do that. So it's about moving forward healthy to make sure I can play 17 when the time's 20 and whatever that we get to when the time's right.
He could play today if he had to.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
That's really good to hear. That is really good to hear. That he is in good enough shape that he feels like he could play today. And the point I've been pointing out to people is we got like 4 months before training camp. So OTAs or team workouts will start on Monday. Weightlifting training and things like that, stretching. Lord knows, let's stretch out those hamstrings. And get these guys in the best shape as possible. I've kind of said I'm happy that we've made as many moves as we have to start getting all these guys into the system. This is where I would love to go ahead and see Micah Parsons' deal done, so that way he's in here with everybody right now. Micah Parsons has always been that guy that's been the lone wolf, where he's out there and he's said in the past, I like to do things to get my body right and so on. For all we know, it could be Micah Parsons is slowing down the deal situation to get a little bit more cheddar, but also to keep from having to do all those workouts and things. If he signs that contract tomorrow, Jerry Jones going to want to see him in there on Monday working out. Veterans typically kind of like to wait to get those things done. So last thing we're going to go through here is things are changing real quickly as far as the draft goes because out of need. I think the major change is Derek Carr possibly needing to have shoulder surgery that could end up destroying a season. Not that Derek Carr, contrary to where everybody has always pumped him up of being this great quarterback, may make teams a little more desperate for a quarterback. As I've said before, the worst time to buy a car is when your car died and you got to go to work tomorrow. Because all of a sudden, everything looks a whole lot better than your left foot and your right foot or having to take the bus. And you may take choices, something that might not be as good as you really are looking for because you're out of desperation. And we know that from guys like Taco Charlton. Yeah. Tristan Hill, out of desperation drafting for a need as opposed to the best players out there. And Shedeur Sanders, some people have him dropping in the draft, possibly. And if he starts dropping, you may look at teams like New Orleans trying to make a move. They may try and move up to get him. or you've also seen the Steelers bring him in. If he's dropping and falling somewhere close to us, it may be that the Steelers might look to a team like us to jump in there. Might not happen. It might happen. Who knows? That's the great thing about the draft.
His mock draft 4.0 is here, and the headline is Shedeur Sanders. A week or so ago, Mel in mock 3.0 had Sanders going 3 to the Giants. Now he has him going 9 to the New Orleans Saints. And as I always say with these mock drafts, keep a close eye on what number the player is going more than the team that's taking him. Mel, give me the rationale behind Shedeur Sanders falling, and I think that would be the right way to describe it in his case, all the way to number 9.
Yeah, first of all, Cleveland and the Giants, Grant, getting the best players in the draft at 2 and 3. That would be Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, passing on the quarterback there with Cam Ward going number 1. That gets Shedeur down to New Orleans. Remember, I had Shedeur going 3 and then Jackson Dart at 9. So really what I'm talking about here is the Saints. New head coach Kellen Moore. Dome team. Atlanta's in a dome. Carolina, Tampa Bay, good weather. Shedeur Sanders, I think, would be ideal. It would be a perfect fit going to New Orleans and be able to get that going. When the head coach comes in, he wants to handpick his quarterback. Shedeur Sanders, to me, is a guy. He's my QB1. I've had him that way pretty much all year. Have not changed. Not pretty much. All year it's been Shedeur Sanders for me. Others now are critical. They're wondering what kind of NFL quarterback can he. Why? Because he doesn't have the great arm. He's not going to run a 4.6, and he's not 6'4". But when you talk about what Tom Brady was able to do in the NFL, Shedeur Sanders will go about his business the same exact way at 6'1.5", 212. So for me, New Orleans, ideal fit. And I think if he gets past there, you get into a bit of no man's land until you get to 21 Pittsburgh, and they may not go quarterback unless it's Shedeur. If it's Shedeur, that would be interesting. Then the Rams at 26. If he gets down to around 18 to 20, do the Giants try to get back into the first round and get him after taking Abdul Carter at pick number 3?
RC, your thoughts? Shedeur Sanders, the possibility of him, and again, I'm going to use the word falling here. I mean, being the 9th pick of the NFL draft is still an extraordinary honor, but in this particular case, it would feel that way. What's your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like he's falling, but if you're Shedeur Sanders, to be picked in the top 10 means you've had an extraordinary college career and also evaluation leading up to the draft. The big thing for me is when you think about the Cleveland Browns, you think about the New York Giants, teams that have been burned for reaching for quarterbacks or trading for quarterbacks, you're going to go with the best 2 players, and that is Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. And if I'm Shedeur Sanders, I want to fall to a team that fits me, a new coach, playing in dome teams, playing in the South, an ability to be the guy that he is. He anticipates well. The ball is on time. Not only is it on time, it's accurate. Shedeur Sanders is going to be a very good quarterback in this league, extremely early, if you ask me. But I do believe him falling is not as much Shedeur Sanders not being the quarterback we think he is, but other players being very good and other teams having needs in between 3 or in between 2 and 8.
So Young Fielding and Mel and I do the First Draft podcast together twice a week, and so we have these conversations regularly. And Field, I know that you are talking regularly to people all around the league. You were there Friday for the workout in Boulder and talked to, I'm sure, every team in the league was represented. Is your sense that Mel is right, that we're going to get through these first 3 picks and Shedeur Sanders is still going to be on the board, and at that point it becomes anybody's guess what happens?
Yeah, yes, it is, Greeny. My sense is that Shedeur Sanders will not go in the first 3 picks. And what it boils down to is this. If Shedeur Sanders is going to go in the first 3 picks, it tells you that one of those 2 teams, because Tennessee is taking Cam Ward, is in love with Shedeur Sanders. Now, if he falls outside the top 3, here's the question that I have, is if he goes number 9 overall, I still believe that's New Orleans telling us they love Shedeur Sanders. If he slides past number 9, I think it enters a new dynamic. It's teams in the second half of the first round that say, we like Shedeur Sanders, but if they were totally enamored by him, they would not just wait on him, they would perhaps try to make a move up the board. Do I think a slide past number 9 is possible? Yes, and then all of a sudden we start to ask the question that Mel proposed, which is, does Cleveland or do the New York Giants or do the Los Angeles Rams try to make a move up the board, RC, and perhaps beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, who currently pick at number 21, to the punch? And while they could sign Aaron Rodgers at any moment, as of right now, Aaron Rodgers is not on the roster. On top of that, he's going to be 42 in December. It might behoove Pittsburgh to have a double-barreled approach at quarterback this year, in which you're saying, even if we do add Aaron Rodgers, we have a Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders ready for 2026 and beyond.
First off, is there like a lettuce requirement to be on your podcast?
Yes.
Look at the hair on these three dudes.
Yeah, we've made that. We've made that
Soak it in,
observation.
baby.
What's actually happening is that since Field got sort of elevated into this role, he's morphing into Mel. He's just becoming
Mel Kiper Jr.
I love it.
He is. If we put a pair of glasses on him and got him a piece of pumpkin pie, no one could tell them apart. Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah, nobody likes pumpkin pie but Mel, by the way. Also, when you think about Shedeur Sanders and falling, I do believe what Field is saying about if he gets past that 9 realm, I think it's going to be a game of chess. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, do you move up, even if you have an Aaron Rodgers in the building? Because that team has to get their quarterback of the future at some point, Field and Mel. And the other piece of it is, to me, it's about being patient. If you're one of those teams who pass on him early and you're not in love with Shedeur Sanders, how do you play the game of whether or not he's a good enough quarterback to lead you early? And I think this is going to be the story of the draft. The entire night when you're sitting there on Thursday, Greeny, you're going to be asking, when is Shedeur Sanders going, especially if he gets past 9?
And then the next level of questions becomes, how much separation do teams perceive between the top level of quarterbacks, what we consider to be the top level of quarterbacks, and the next wave, which is where, hey, Kiper, you did something I didn't think you could do. You shocked me with this thing. I did not see this coming. Second round, Mel has the New York Football Giants selecting Jalen Milroe, quarterback, Alabama.
Okay,
Now,
we're running off the rails here now. Now we're just reaching for stuff. But anyway, we don't have credibility here in my basement. We don't. And that's fine. But this is something that once I heard about New Orleans with Derek Carr, that all of a sudden Shedeur Sanders becomes the wild card. And you might see people all of a sudden start scrambling really hard between New Orleans and Pittsburgh to get Shedeur. All right, good people. As always, I want to say thank you all for being part of the Joe Booth Sports Report, and I got work to do. Peace out.